Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Teague at Fred Anderson Toyota. This is Brian Newton, our service director, and we've got a 25 4Runner. We're going to look underneath it. We know a lot of people are going to buy them, maybe not ever have a chance to put them up on lifts. I see a spare tire there. That might be one of the things we're going to point out. This is the TRD Sport. You can see the badging there. This is in supersonic red, one of 9 different trim levels. So there really is something for everybody out there. You could go off-roading capable like the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter. Maybe you want to go luxury like a Limited or Platinum. The sports, the off-roads. Maybe you just want a basic 4Runner that gives you everything you need, and that might be the SR5. So Brian's going to show us around underneath.
All right, so starting underneath here, we've got the front tow hooks that's going on the front. Those are affixed to the front part of the frame right here. It's nice to have points on the front and back. Got your splash shield here that will protect from anything that bounces up from the road that may affect possibly that AC condenser or your radiator, anything in there that could cause some potential damage.
And Brian, the one thing that you'll see is we have no air dam. So in a previous video, we took off the air dam. So if you don't like the look of it, 9 bolts, 4 in the back, 5 in the front, easy to do. Let's continue.
Yeah, very easy. As you go under the 2.4 liter turbo engine here, it's the first turbo model in the 4Runner. You can see the front steering rack and pinion assembly. That is an electronic rack and pinion assembly, so that does help with assist. You don't have to worry about that pesky fluid to have to maintain. This right here is your front 4-wheel drive actuator. It's mounted to your 4-wheel drive unit here on the front. It's got front locking differential, CV axles that go out to the front, double wishbone suspension in the front. And as you move back here, you can, if you look right here, I want you to take note of this engine oil pan. Not much to the engine oil pan, so not much capacity in there. So it is very good to keep that up and out of the way, out of the road. Toyota really thought about when they're engineering this vehicle, if you take a look at the transmission and the space that you have under the transmission and even above the transmission, this is a technician's dream to be able to get up and actually around the transmission. Seems like engineering usually doesn't keep that in mind when putting these together, but at least Toyota knew that this was a very off-road capable vehicle, and you're going to need to get in here and do some things from time to time as far as splash shields and accessories and things like that, things to make the underneath really cool and rugged. Right here at this transmission, this is your transmission pan right here. It does have a non-serviceable fluid. However, most people that do some towing and off-roading like to change that around 60,000 miles. So it's pan's right here, easily accessible. And if you look, this is the 4-wheel drive front drive shaft that comes from your transfer case to the front differential. That transfers the power from your transmission to that front differential that makes your front drive wheels turn. So really neat right here. It's a lot of technology to go in here. It's been in here for years, but it's really nice to see it underneath. And it transfers back into your rear drive axle that goes back to your rear drive wheels and the rear differential. So it's kind of neat. Obviously there's a damper in here and a multi-piece drive shaft that goes back to your rear differential. So really neat. So notice the diameter on the exhaust. It's really nice and big because this is, again, a 2.4 liter turbo. This right here is your catalytic converter, but on the front side of that catalytic converter, and we'll show you again on the top, that's where your turbo's at. Really nice. It's a power generator. It does allow that extra boost to be delivered to the engine for that extra torque and horsepower that you should expect out of this vehicle. So you see how that runs back into your rear exhaust. This is your muffler and out back towards the rear of the vehicle. So right here you're looking at your fuel tank assembly. That is a multi-piece fuel tank. By that I mean there is a charcoal canister that filters any noxious fumes from that fuel tank and breathes into the atmosphere, so that way you do not have any of that in your garage when you walk into it and it's trying to vent. You don't smell any of those pesky fumes. This is the splash shield for that as well. And you're probably wondering what this silver piece right here around that is. That is a heat shield to keep any heat away from it. You notice it's pretty well insulated right here around your exhaust as your exhaust turns near your fuel tank. All right, and so you want to look at your TRD Sport suspension here. It's a multi-link rear trailing arm and rear sway bar link system set up on a solid rear axle. This is your sway bar link. This is your sway bar that goes from left to right. Does stiffen that rear suspension up quite a bit, so it helps you out with that feel when driving. And you got your upper links as well. This is not a normal component, but it is neat to see that they have that on your TRD Sport version. Right here is your rear coil springs. They're mounted above that axle, and they mount to the bottom of the subframe there. So that will allow that nice comfort in the rear. Yeah, and something else that you want to take a look at here, obviously with that multi-link rear suspension, is this rear arm here. It does help with the suspension. It does help with that 6,000 pound towing capacity that you have as well, that's transferred in through this nice tow hitch and a wiring assembly. You've got a little bit on either side there for different pins. Some people have the flat blade pin style, and some people have that round, so it's really nice to have both. But one thing I want to show you underneath here is this rear brake caliper on both sides. Some people might have some questions about what's that noise when I put it in park, get out of my Toyota. Well, this guy right here is part of your electronic parking brake. This is an electronic parking brake motor, and when you put that into park, it's going to actuate that parking brake for you. So for those folks that have the habit about putting the parking brake on when they get out of their vehicles every time, Toyota thought about that and does it for you. So it's really nice, nice feature. It does save a little bit of the pressure on the parking pawl and the transmission anytime you're on an incline or any type of hill or anything like that. So it's really nice to see that they've integrated that into the rear brake calipers. And right here is your spare tire. Very easy to get to. Underneath, I would say it's very nice just to keep in mind, this does have a tire pressure sensor in it. So sometimes you'll have a tire pressure light when it gets cold outside. It is normal where your tires will lose a little bit of air in the winter time. So when you're checking your tires and you're confused that tire light may be on after checking your tire pressure, remember this one has a sneaky hidden tire pressure sensor in that as well, just to let you know that your tire pressure might be low in your spare tire. It's nothing worse than having a flat on the side of the road and getting to your tire underneath your vehicle and finding out it's flat as well. So that tire sensor in there is important. It's nice to air that up on every service, which we do here for you in the service department.
We're bringing it down, and then Brian's gonna show us underneath the hood a little bit. That was amazing, actually. I don't know how often we get the chance to see a first-hand look at the components underneath the vehicle. That was super cool. This looks fantastic in supersonic red, by the way.
We're going to show you a little bit under the hood of this 2.4 liter, 278 horsepower, 4-cylinder engine here. It does come equipped with 317 foot-pounds of torque and 6,000 pound towing capacity, so it's not going to have any issue pulling that trailer or anything that you put behind it under that 6,000 pound rating there. So as we look under the hood right here, just a few components that you might kind of scratch your head and wonder what those are. So if you look over here, you're going to see your ABS module. That's your pump and module assembly right there, and that actuates those anti-lock brakes for you. It does run directly off your brake fluid master cylinder and master cylinder reservoir right there. So it supplies that fluid to that. Also your computer here. There is many computers on these vehicles. This is just one of many. There are integration computers, different communication modules and ECMs, things like that, but this is just one of many computers that you have on this vehicle. Your engine coolant here, this is the reservoir. Keep in mind, this is completely full, but it's not all the way to the top on our standards. So you want to leave a little bit of room for it to fluctuate up and down. It does do that on its own when the thermostat opens and closes. So if it's not completely to the top, don't worry, it's not low, it's right where it needs to be, just as long as it's between the full and the low line. Right over here, it does house your radiator and your air conditioning AC condenser. Your condenser is behind there as well. They do work in tandem to keep that engine cool and you cool on the inside of the vehicle. Over here is your air intake. This is where your air filter is going to be housed. Mass airflow sensor that meters the amount of air that's coming in. It does measure that and tell your engine how much air you're getting. It goes in through there into the intake manifold there. Behind there, it's kind of tough to see, but you do have a turbo. That's where that's located. That's that additional power supply that's delivered to the engine. Yep, it's going to be right in behind that that manifold there, that manifold cover. Screen wires, oxygen sensor, myriad of different sensors and solenoids under here. But this is where you would put your oil right here. This is your oil cap. Very easy to get to. Your dipstick is on the adjacent side of the engine here with this yellow pull dipstick here, so very easy to check your oil anytime you need to. I do want to touch base underneath the hood where Toyota's put that specific weight oil. If you'll take a look right here, it does take 0 W20 oil. I would not deviate from that just based on the manufacturer's recommendation. So obviously some many other components like your battery, standard other things. This is where you put your windshield washer fluid. That's for, you know, to fill up completely right here.
Thanks, Brian, for showing us all around the 4Runner mechanically. Let's take a look aesthetically so we can see what it looks like, and then I'll also show you the inside. Just a quick tour. We've got thorough reviews on this specific one that we'll put at the end of the video here. How does it look on the outside? You can choose lots of different types of seating material, maybe fabric, Softex, leather seats. Can have a smaller display here, a larger 12.3-inch display. Can have the 8-inch screen, can have the larger screen. You might find charging, storage, dual temperature controls with heated, cooled seats. Memory seats are available. Good leg room. Test it out for yourself. We would love to help you out. Long distance, local, we're happy to help either way. But test it out at your dealership and see what you think. Here we go. Look at this. USBs, rear power, rear air vents. Isn't that nice looking? These seats tumble forward, and then we can look at the cargo area as well. It has a power vertical window. Excellent. Here's an example of a 4Runner window sticker. Every trim level, there are 9 of them, is going to have different standard specs. Question's going to be, which one are you most interested in? But this will give you an idea of a TRD Sport at least. Some are going to cost less, some are going to cost more. Fred Anderson Toyota in Raleigh, North Carolina is happy to help. FredAndersonToyota.com. Thanks for following along. Be sure to subscribe to Fred Anderson Toyota YouTube channel where you can see Toyota Car Care Talk, where we give all sorts of videos on servicing your vehicle, repairing your vehicle, and maintaining your vehicle, including a look underneath. We appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.